did I tell you? A momentous occasion. I'm sure you agree.
I've had enough, Mizora. What do you want?
Your attention, little pup.
What is Karlach
Nothing
doing?
more. And you'll be glad to give it. You see, Gortash has had your father relocated.
Relocated? What are you playing at, devil?
Rude. I'm just an impartial observer. This is Gortash's game. A murderous one, the way I hear it.
Shit.
Your dad's good as dead, pup. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there?
You know something.
I know enough. I'll be in your camp if you want to work something out.
Of course she'd stick her infernal nose where it doesn't belong. Of course she's dreamt up some risible scheme. By all the hounds of the hells, what is she planning?
You don't have a single clue? She's your patron, not mine.
I couldn't even fathom a guess. Though, I doubt we'll need to wait long for answers. Let's make camp when we're able. Mizora will be waiting. Until then, may my father keep safe, whatever coop he's been flown to.
Okay. As we are transitioning regions here, I wanted to quickly hop in and talk about this next part of the game. In the lower city, at least personally, I can feel a little overwhelmed by the amount of content and just kind of deciding what quests to do when. So to help myself out, I am of course going to prioritize whatever I think Nyxx would prioritize, which means I might leave out one, maybe two side quests, though I promise not to skip a lot of content and I will definitely pick them up in later playthroughs. I also am going to prioritize based on urgency, of course, but also region, so that I'm not just bouncing all over the map. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but right now, since we're here, let's run over to this bulletin board. There are a couple other side quests, as if we didn't have enough already. The first thing we see is an ad for the Elfsong Tavern, so we'll definitely get a room there today. And another ad for Sorcerer's Sundries and the Night Song quest.
Here's one for you. Did you hear about the rabbit that became a frog?
And another one for the Hag support group. Let's also talk to this reporter.
Oh, you? I know you. How delightful to meet in person. Though, you're shorter than I expected.
Rude.
It's just an opinion. It's my job to have them. I meant no offense. My name's Estrester, journalist. I speak to the people of Baldur's Gate so our readers don't have to.
How did you know who I was?
I work for the greatest broadsheet in this storied city. It's my job to know who is who. I imagine you'll be becoming quite familiar with it soon. You are, after all, the star of the next Baldur's Mouth Gazette.
I never asked to be written about.
No one ever does, my sweet. But look on the bright side. You'll be famous. It's our juiciest edition in an age bound to get everyone talking about you.
So here's my current plan for quest order, if you're interested. Of the main quests, Nyxx would probably want to take out the Temple of Baal and take on Orin before Gortash. Also, Astarion's quest will be a top priority for Nyxx, but we have to gather some information around town and long rest a few times so that we don't miss any camp scenes. So of the side quests, I think the explosive toys are most urgent since there are refugee lives at stake, and also the Gazette is on the way there. So we can check those two things off the to-do list, get a room at the Elfsong, and then regroup for tomorrow. Speaking of, let's check in.
Gods, this is the first time in 200 years I've seen these streets in the sunlight. You can forget just how much color there is in the world.
Nyxx totally would say the drow line here, but Astarion's response to it is so mean. And honestly, I feel like doesn't fit his character, or at least their relationship at this point in the game. So it's a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to go with number 1 instead.
Are you all right?
Yes, of course. Obviously. Sorry, did you want something?
Still not the kindest, but it's better than the alternative. And he's going through it, so we'll give him a pass here.
I know you're hurting, but it won't bring her back, will it?
I know her. That's
Friggin'
Baldur.
steal watch,
She's
man.
no thief.
Stay back and stay calm. Warning you.
For the newspaper quest, Nyxx probably wouldn't care, really, what people are saying about them,
What do I think of Lord Gortash's still watch? Well,
unless it meant that it was more difficult for them to get around the city. So we'll just quickly stop in and see what libel's being printed about us.
Well, if it isn't the city's next celebrity. You star in our next edition's top story.
I have no need of such attention. I suggest you focus on something useful, like the obvious corruption in the city.
Well, you should have considered that before disgracing yourself in public. I've never heard so much violence against innocent circus freaks before. The truth will be out with tomorrow's broadsheet. People will spit in your face. Your very presence will be bad for business. You'll be a pariah, an outcast, as you should be. And then, we can only hope the Fist do their duty and escort you to the gallows. Your days of scumming up this good city streets will be over.
Print that about me, and I'll push your corpse through the Gazette print works.
I'm not afraid of you. Lord Gortash is a passionate champion of the journalistic arts. Attack me, and you face the Steel Watch. The headlines are loaded into the print works already. Tomorrow, you will feel the power of free speech. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. Now, guards! I believe our distinguished guest was just leaving. Would you care to escort them out?
Fine. I'm just going to
we
sneak
should
back
have a
in
still watch in
anyways.
every Baldurian home.
Nyxx drank a potion of invisibility, came down the elevator and took out the 2 steel watch guards, and here we are.
You examine what appears to be a test print of tomorrow's broadsheet. Numerous corrections are marked in red ink. The content of the broadsheet is troubling. You feature heavily in the central article, lambasted as a danger to the city.
Even though Nyxx just failed the investigation check, it says there are red marks all over this broadsheet, and the editor asked for another draft, so the old one must be in the trash.
The blog has a broadsheet article engraved upon it. It speaks positively of you.
What's that?
You approach the printer, noting its ink splots and intricate cogs. Before you can get closer, however, it begins to speak.
Oi! Gormless! Over here! Thought I recognized you. Dolly was right. You aren't much of a looker.
Let me guess. Another Fae who needs freeing.
I'm not trapped, you fool! This printing machine is just marvelous. We've nothing like it in the Feywild. This is my paintbrush. I make sure everything that's in those big, ugly article blocks becomes fine printed artistry. I'm a master pensman, I am. Dolly can't stop talking about you. Hero this, hero that, hero here, hero there. Hello, hero. You know, there's some absolute filth about you in tomorrow's edition. Seeing as you were kind enough to free Dolly, how's about I do you a favor? why don't we change the headline? We can load up something a bit less damaging for your reputation.
Sounds good to me.
Well, first, I've got to release the old nasty top story. Oop, there. Now, you've got to find a new article to replace it.
Actually, I have an article. Let's get started.
How delightful.
The editor will be in for a surprise tomorrow.
And there you have it. On to the fireworks shop.
Down the stairs and... Oh, was it upstairs?
Crime scene not open to public. By order of the Flaming Fist.
This is one of those ballast murder locations I said we would find as we're running around. And while I never remember to use them with Karlach, there is a soul coin in the mailbox.
No, you mustn't.
What's that? Can't keep me out. That corpse is huge. And is that a bound arm? Dribbles, no doubt.
We'll loot the place and then head on out.
Oh man! Whiz bangs!
Keep calm, Karlach. One bad flare, and you could blow this whole place.
Throw it at a steel watcher.
Man!
You don't
Whiz
have
bangs!
the pocket money for that. Maybe a little
Better.
but you have to pay me.
Karlach and explosives.
Felogyr's fireworks will brighten your day. With pyrotechnics, projectiles, crackers and sparkling. Faces, hands, and eyebrows. How do we protect them?
Watch for wind direction. Put on your gloves. And a light at arm's length.
Very good. And what does Uncle Felogyr always say?
Once it's lit, you commit.
Excellent! Now remember, Felogyr's fireworks accepts no liability for singed nails, toasted eyelashes, loss of limbs, scalded torsos, or blown off heads. Now, you there. What can I do for you?
You feel an all too familiar squirm in the recesses of your mind. He has a tadpole.
Aha! A fellow friend of Gortash. Praise the Absolute. I have a special sample, available just for you, if you wish.
Sure. Why not?
This one will be very useful against any and all enemies of Gortash. Be sure to be clear of its explosion area. Please enjoy responsibly, and nowhere near this establishment. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Uncle Felogyr sent me.
Aha! You must be Arthur's friend. Keep your voice down. Yes, yes, he's just upstairs, but only one flight. If you get to the top, you've gone too far. Browse as irresponsibly as you like. Just don't tell the other customers.
Nyxx is going to try to be as covert as possible so as not to alert the guards and the Steel Watch, but I imagine that's not going to last very long. For being a former assassin, they're not very subtle.
Head on up!
Your uncle is waiting for you upstairs.
Another friend of Felogyr? All right.
Just remember the top floor's off limits, password or not. Looking to buy a little something extra then?
What's upstairs?
That could not be less of your business.
Well, that lasted even less time than I expected. Nyxx is just gonna attack. If they don't want to let us up there, we'll just fight our way to the top floor. So we took out all of these Bay Knights who were cooking up explosives for Gortash. Let's quickly loot them all and then get out of here before the guard is alerted. Now we're going to the Elfsong Tavern to go get a room, and Nyxx has been trying to keep an eye out for any sign of the Ball cultist, including a dwarf who is wearing all red, and would you look at that?
Why, hello there. We were just about to try some of Master Metzli's delightful wines. Would you care to join us?
They do look ever so tasty.
Ah, Mrs. Highbury, I prefer to conduct tastings individually, so I may assess your palate.
Call me Cora, Master Metzli. And I'm afraid I must insist on their joining us. Wine's no good without company, after all.
The wine scent is almost sickly sweet, with an acrid note just on the periphery. Poison.
That wine is poisonous, Cora. This man is trying to kill you.
No, it was perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You have sullied it with knowledge, made it an unclean sacrifice. I will remember your face, and I will peel it from your skull should you interfere again.
Dolor is going to try to trick us with the doppelgangers, but Bro is still the one standing by the table. He didn't move. He will, however, turn invisible and try to yeet himself out of Dimension Door the first chance he gets. But with Nyxx's high initiative and all of their stacked bonus actions, I think they can take him out in one go. Like that. Nyxx is the best. They didn't even have to use Action Surge. Maybe I've overpowered them too much. I mean, I don't know. They are the child of two gods. I'll think about it. Anyways, that's gonna make it so much easier for us to travel around the city now and not have to worry as much about the Cult of Ball. Though Orin is still obviously a problem. But we'll take out the rest of these doppelgangers and move on.
Sicarius. And a location. We should find this Candle Hallow place.
We'll run in here and check on Cora real fast.
I am so glad that monster was stopped.
Oh, me too, my love. Me too.
Now we can head across the street to the Elfsong.
The Elfsong Tavern. I wonder if my old things are still there. They could be ruins too.
Are those pickled trotters ready yet?
Probably best if I keep a low profile. They used to know me all too well at the Elfsong.
I wonder if our paths ever crossed in the before times. Were you always so sneaky?
I haven't survived for 2 centuries by being reckless, and I hope to survive at least 2 more.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Oh, we walked right by Lacrissa.
Well, look what the bugbear dragged in. Can't believe we both made it to the city, and with our limbs attached.
Never pictured you as a barmaid.
Well, I'd pick this over Moonrise, as delightful as that was. Alan is short on coppers. The counting house is screwing him over. He was willing to hire anyone who'd work for cheap. And I'm nothing if not cheap.
I don't think Nyxx would say any of that, so we'll just keep moving along. She also never pays us for the bet. Did Nyxx even take the bet? I don't even remember.
Aye, aye. Pull up a seat. If you can find one spare, that is.
I'm looking for a place to stay.
I tell you what, the murder upstairs has brought some punters, but it's also really spooked folk out of renting rooms. If we get you staying up there, perhaps folk will calm down and realise there's naught to worry about. You can have the whole upstairs floor until this killer thing blows over.
Perhaps I could get a discount on the accommodation.
Charity! In Baldur's Gate! Good one.
You want 200 gold to sleep next to a murder scene? Really?
Keep your voice down about the bloody murder upstairs. Top floor's all yours. If it gets a bit too noisy at night, well, don't sleep above a pub.
As we head up the stairs, these flaming fists will tell us not to go up there, but Nyxx is just gonna ignore them.
Hold up, citizen. This is a crime scene.
Stelling's parlor. A place to receive clients and informants. I wonder if it's as I remember it.
Oh, bollocks! I told those idiots not to let anyone through. You. Name, rank, and reason for interrupting an active crime scene. For your sake, the last one better be bloody good.
Are you Devella? Valeria sent me.
To fetch her another bottle of mead, no doubt. Yes, I'm Devella, the unfortunate colleague. Unless you've got useful information, leave me to my work. Duke Stelmane's dead, and I've got to find who killed her.
I know more about Bal than anyone you'll find. You don't want to send me away.
Bal? That's exactly what I... Wait. How do you know about that?
Why would we just tell a stranger that? We'll just show her the list of murder targets.
Gods. That's it. Proof that I was right. I've been working on an assignment, see? A research project of sorts. I knew my conclusions were sound. But this... I never expected this. I'll tell you what I know. A century ago, there was a man. Saravok Anchev. He was a child of the god of murder, Bal. He ruled the Iron Throne. A dark tower hiding a darker secret. It was the front for a deadly arms-dealing network. There, Saravok amassed an army and sought to become a god. Under his stewardship, the Bal Temple was revived. And with it, the Bal cult itself. Fortunately, the temple was destroyed. And to cleanse the city of Saravok's memory, the Iron Throne was torn from its foundations and cast into the Chionthar. For most, that was the end of it. But cults like that don't disappear overnight. That list you spoke of confirms I'm right. The Bal cult is back. And someone is out there, continuing Saravok's work.
Well, I think, and this is just a hunch, it may be Bolspawn.
God save us all if you're right. But I believe it. Whoever it is, they're intimately familiar with Saravok's work. The brutality of the killings is on a par with Saravok's own. But there's something more here. Something new. There's a reference to these murders. A certain flair. It's as if they were done in worship. The precision of the cuts. The depth, the execution.
The best butchers in Faerun couldn't make a cut like that. Trust me, I've asked them. I tried to explain all this to my superiors, but they wouldn't have any of it. They told me to drop it. Told me the city doesn't need another conspiracy theorist and to get back to doing my job before they find someone else to do it for me. But you're not bound by such constraints. Oh, help me out here. Help the city out. I bet if you follow the trail of these murders, you'll be able to unearth the truth of this resurgence.
What will you do in the meantime?
There are patriarchs on the murder target list. I'm oathbound to secure them first, so I'll be heading to the upper city next. While I'm there, the other potential victims will be at risk. Could you warn them?
That's your job. Not my problem if you only want to help the rich.
You don't seem to understand. My job is to help the rich first. But fine, if you're not interested in helping, I guess I'll just have to try and convince my superiors to put some resources into this matter. Once I've secured the patriarchs, I'll head to Basilisk Gate. Meet me there if you have a change of heart.
We can explore the room, but there's not much new information here. We know it was Dolor. He had her severed hand in a bag he called the handbag. So pretty obvious. But we'll wrap up here and then head over to the room for a long rest.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
You've heard of such devils. Sisters of justice, adjudicators of diabolical contracts and bargains.
Holy hells.
The Duke's been taken. Now what?
Sisters.
Infernos contractos te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus.
Your contract, Wyll. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable.
Then break it already. Wyll doesn't need to wait 6 months.
No contract is ended without sacrifice. A cost must be paid. Wyll Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact, and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel! I won't let her take Wyll.
Silence, Karlach.
Mizora! You asshole!
Choose.
Break the pact, Wyll. You deserve your freedom.
You damned wretch!
Father. Do it. Break the pact.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita, anima ad beator.
Didn't think you had it in you. Seems my boy's all grown up. And don't go fussing about your father. You made your choice. You knew the terms. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Let's check up on Wyll and make sure he's okay.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mizora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free. I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet.
You're your own man now, Wyll. It's better this way.
I have to believe that. I'm not the Hell's puppet in life, nor its warrior in death. The blade will be guiding his own hand. But freedom will be paid in my father's blood. Tomorrow, I celebrate my gain. Today, I mourn my loss.
A moment passes. In the stillness, you find a mote of tranquility.
The Raven Guard name now lives solely with me. I will make it count for something.
What's our next step then?
We obtain the final 2 nether stones and take back our minds. And the city. From the brain.
You heard the man.